Hello, I'm Deborah Epstein, and welcome to Life is Art Conscious Creativity Summit, creative practices to increase imagination and creativity to embody courage and live your purpose. Today's guest is Joyce Lely. Joyce is an artist, creativity, and mindset guide, founder of the Fierce Female Force, and creator of the Find Your Voice programs for multi-passionate entrepreneurial women. Having survived a string of challenging situations topped by a long series of devastating earthquakes in 2010, 2011, and losing almost all she had, Joyce managed to rise back up and turn the odds in her favor. She likes to call herself a thriving artist and proves that creativity can be the provider for your family. An intuitive, creative, Renaissance soul herself, she started using creative ways to keep her mindset under control and keep the family unit whole at the same time. Now she uses these tools to help other women explore and find their unique blend of feminine energy, mindset, and creativity present within. Her innovative approach, Joyce weaves creative exercises and projects into the process. Her passion is freedom, independence, and fun for all. Joyce is a Dutchie living in New Zealand with her partner and 2 teenage kids. Wow, amazing story. Nice to have you here. Thanks so much for being here too.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. Thank you for having me, and welcome to everybody that's tuning in. It's so good to have you here as well.
Thank you for that. So earthquakes and art and creative practices, you are the embodiment of who we are talking to today on this with the summit. So I'd love for you to share some of that story if you can.
I can. I'll try and do it in a bit of a fast forward nutshell kind of way.
It's a big story.
So I was born in the Netherlands, in Holland, small country in Western Europe. And as an adult, I decided to move to the other side of the world. So I'm really on the opposite side of the globe now. In New Zealand. The reason why I wanted to move was because Holland is a very small country, as I said, and it's very densely populated. I like more space. I like freedom. It is something that I've always had in me. I used to, and I still do, daydream, try to escape. So when I was older and I had the means, I would work hard and save up and travel a lot. And then after a while, I thought, why am I trying to escape all the time? Maybe it would be a better choice to just find a place that I think has more freedom already. So, and that is a little bit how I ended up emigrating to the other side of the world. I had a good life, I have a lovely family. There were no other reasons than just the pursuit of freedom, space, a better quality of life. And New Zealand is a beautiful country. It is really, really beautiful. If you've ever been here, you will know. If you've never been here, put it on your bucket list. It is really, it is a little bit of a paradise here. But it is very lightly populated. And of course, that was one of the draws that brought me here. But when you start living in a place like that and you try to make a living, it quickly becomes clear that it is harder because there are just so few people, right? So it's not been an easy ride. I mean, even though it started off with a dream and I basically took a leap of faith, and started all over again. Because as an adult, if you move, then when you come to a new place, you try to find connections with people that are there. But most adults already have organized their lives. It starts when you're in kindergarten, you select your friends and you grow up and you get, you leave some people behind, you get new friends. And that is when you're an adult, a lot of people have their life sorted out. So it wasn't an easy ride, but I came with my partner, so that was a plus. We were together, and we enjoyed the life, and we did the hard work to get established in a new place, and it was our home away from home. I had my kids there, and then I had these plans to to bring something creative back into my life, because I'd always been a creative. I had always loved drawing, painting, doing creative things, thinking creatively, and but society and good meaning parents and family, they always say, oh, that's nice for a hobby, but do
Yes.
something sensible, do
Yes.
something that pays the bills. So I had done that, and maybe that was also a reason why I decided to emigrate, to sort of escape from that pressure of, or even though it was well meant, there is this certain pressure on you to perform the way it's supposed to be. But the funny thing was that when we came to New Zealand, you fall back in the same trap.
Yes.
Because the first thing was try to adapt to the new society, try to fit in. And by trying to fit in, you lose your authentic connection with yourself. So it's a really strange thing that happened, although it was this beautiful place and this beautiful scenery and really enjoyable like that, the work cycle that I'd fallen into was a lot similar to what I was doing in Europe. So, so all these things, but I had really got this feeling, now I have the kids, I want to do some more creativity. So I started doing it part-time. I had a part-time creative business that would bring in some money, and I had another part-time job to fill in the gaps,
Mm-hmm.
and we had just worked out this really wonderful plan, we thought, to start something that would be fully focused on the creativity. And then the earthquakes happened. It is really, really strange, I mean, there was no time at the, it's instantly life stands still.
Yes.
When something like that happens. And now with the fires in Australia, which is not very far from here, when I see these images, those are things you cannot do anything about. Natural disasters are too big to comprehend or to influence, to really change. I mean, the thing is, you have to get through whatever is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that at the end you can get yourself to a place where you can rise back up.
Yeah.
And the earthquakes had really taught me so many things. I mean, it opened my eyes, it opened my mind, it made me understand things about myself, about other people, about how everything fits in, or where I had made choices that were not beneficial for my personal feeling, for my personal soul, that were not good for me in my mind, but also my health, because it's all connected. We are all one big ball of energy. So
Yes.
whenever there's something that is not in line with your core values and your core thoughts, and in your mind, that affects your body as well. So it was a huge, like, instantly, it was like a pattern interrupt. Boom.
Yeah.
My life was shaken. My mind got shaken. The earth shook. Everything, everything. But because of that, and I can talk about it now, because in hindsight, I think I had to experience this to be able to open my eyes and my mind like this, and to come to this understanding. At the moment, of course, it's horrible. In moments like that, you feel lost, you feel helpless and powerless. You have no as I said, you cannot do anything about the forces of nature.
Right.
And only when I started working through it afterwards, we lost power, we lost sewage, we lost water supply, everything. There was so much broken, and so many people running away and reacting in different ways.
Yes.
Some people panic, some people get really depressed, some people flee, and there's no right or wrong. Everybody reacts differently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting to see, and I went within. I went within. I observed. It was almost like I was observing everything and myself and my family and and the bigger picture, as if I was observing it from above, from
Yeah.
like if you're watching a movie or playing a computer game or something like that. It was really strange. And
Mm.
I started to work through it like I was reading a story, and I started journaling more, and that had always been something that I did a lot, but
Yeah.
now I really, because there was nothing else to do really. Also, we lost our jobs, everything got to a standstill.
Hmm.
and and by journaling, I got to a more peaceful place in myself, and I also felt like I needed to find a place to be calm myself for my kids, because they were still young then.
Hmm.
um, and then others that were around me still in the neighborhood, because a lot of places got evacuated as well. They said, Joyce, how are you coping? You have no family support here. You guys are just alone here. How are you coping with this so well, better than I am? How do you do it? Because a lot of people got on antidepressant pills, started, drinking more and things like that, all kinds of drugs of choice to
Right.
get through these emotional upheavals. And I said, look, I have my journals. That's my medicine. That's all that I do is I'm journaling, and I'm just putting it out there. I'm just releasing all these thoughts and all this baggage that I've got in with me. I'm just offering it to my papers, to my journals.
Yeah, that's
And,
key.
and yeah.
That's so key and so important. And that's I'm hoping that as people are listening to your story and listening to you talk, that how important being able to express in a safe place stops the buildup of the
Mm,
anxiety. Because you're in this place where you can't change what's happening to you. You can't fix it. You can't control it. You have to release and have to
yeah.
go with the flow of it. And it's scary, I'm sure. But yeah, hearing how you grounded yourself in that practice is really something I'm hoping people pick up from what you're saying
Mm,
right now. Yeah.
mm, yeah. Yeah. And so I think the what you just said, the grounded, and that is the thing, maybe by the earth shaking,
Hmm.
I actually put down stronger roots, which is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
It's
your
a
whole
contrast. It's a
yeah
contrast again,
contrast.
and I just when you said that, I thought, yeah, because I feel like my roots here have gone deeper. And
Mm,
when you have deeper roots, you can grow wider and higher, and you can expand,
yeah.
and perhaps this was a thing really to make me realize this is where I am, and
Hmm.
I am putting down my roots. I am, although we did move away after a year, we did move away from that place to the North Island, because that was on the South Island,
Hmm.
and we are now on the North Island.
Yeah.
We just lost too much to be able to continue. We stayed for a year, but really we didn't have enough resources anymore to stay longer without progress,
Hmm.
possible progress. The rebuild is still going on. It is very slow. Yeah, it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. So after a year, we did decide to move to the North Island, and that is where I started my. I decided I'm not going to ever do anything anymore that doesn't make me happy. So the
Mm,
first thing, because that's also a thing, you suddenly realize that life can be very short, and you have no control over everything in your life, so you might as well just enjoy every day. And you hear that from other people, that
yes.
experience other things that really make them see that it is important to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
It is really, really important. So I started building a life around my creativity now,
Hmm.
fully, you
Yeah.
know fully.
Yeah.
That's all I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how you're busting the paradigm of the starving artist,
Mhm.
um, with your work and with your work with people too, because you're showing another dimension to
Yeah.
art That's not just a pretty picture that you hang on the wall that maybe goes in a museum, but it has purpose and it's functional. Talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit, if you would.
Well, actually, if people approach me and ask me if I can teach them to draw a pretty landscape or something, I say, sure, I could do that.
Yeah.
But that is not why you want to come to me. You know, if you want to come and work with me, it is because you want to get the feeling of the practice. You need to enjoy doing the creative thing and getting in touch with yourself and getting in touch with you, what you need and who you are, and get out of it, the releasing part out of it, because it is purely for me. All my journals, and if I'm on canvases and things like that, but I love journals because they are like sacred vessels. They keep secrets, they keep emotions, they keep feelings that you may not always want to talk about, and they don't have to hang on the wall. And that is the thing, a lot of people, they are afraid to start creating because they say, oh, I'm not very good at art, I could never do any art. But it's not about that. It is about what do you get out of it. It's the energy you get back. It's
Yeah.
not the thing that you're going to hang on the wall. I don't think that a lot of creatives make things because of the thing that's going to be put on the wall. They make and they create because it's an urge that comes from within. It is a thing that they need to do. The expression part, the understanding and the healing that you get from doing the creation.
Yeah, it's a whole experience. And I'm watching your body language too, because you're pulling it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes out. And this just here, right? It's that core, like it's in your belly, just just your sort of your belly, your gut. That is where it sits for me. That's why I call it the fierce female force. I needed something. I really needed something to be my mantra, to keep me going, because I had to find something to hold on to. And I thought to myself, look, even though I'm a woman, even though I'm emotional, I'm an intuitive, I'm an empath, all that, I'm still fierce and I'm still strong. And there is a force that all women, all people have inside of them. You need to just find that and tap into that. So I use that fierce female force every time I thought I need to be strong. Okay, I am a fierce female force. It is a contradiction there, because female usually means the softer side. But yeah, for me, I love playing with contrasts as well, I mean, as an artist, you do, otherwise you don't.
Yeah. I see that in nature, though. I mean, we call her Mother Nature, but then she has raging rivers, and we use those fierce, descriptors to describe her power. So that exists within each of us, right? And it's beautiful that I just love how you're using that dichotomy of energies, the soft feminine with the fierceness, because we, Mother Bear even comes to mind,
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I may be a soft female, but boy, I'm fierce, and you're not just waiting, right, till something happens to be reactive. You're claiming your power, right, and using it for creation.
And everybody's got it inside. Everybody's got it, So never feel afraid to find or connect with it. You don't have to find it. It's there. You just need to find the connection, Everybody has a superpower, something special within themselves. And it's just finding the connection, because life is so busy, especially nowadays, everything with instant gratification, everything with fast, quick, this and that, but actually, to go faster, you need to go slow first. You need to just take a break, get calm, and connect. And then you will see, you will get that feeling. You will get that feeling. It's like a spiral. I love spirals, but it's like a spiral, and then you can just climb up the spiral.
Yeah. Well, as I'm looking at the spiral right behind you as you're talking, and there's a
and
ladder.
Yours?
There's the letter. Yeah, so I got one too. These guys are going to get inundated with spirals. It's awesome.
Yeah, spirals are yeah. I mean, I am very positive now, right? But as a teenager, I was sliding down spirals all the time. Like I would be so dark and so pessimistic and so grumpy, and I didn't see, because as I said, I'm an empath, and when you try to fix all the problems in the world just because of those feelings, it's difficult, and I didn't see any light. And that is all so strange. Now that I think back, I think, wow, how different a person I am now after everything that I've experienced.
Mhm.
Um, and then I actually basically still was pretty unspoiled, and I had all these dark thoughts, so maybe we all need to experience something to actually see the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think so too. Yeah. And I'm listening to you talk too, and there's this paradigm too that there's artists out there that really believe they need to be tortured to be able to
Yeah.
make good work. And I hear a little resonance in your story with my own, because I used a lot through my journey. I used art to kind of heal a lot of wounds, a lot of emotional wounds, traumas, that kind of stuff. And I got to a certain point where I went, like, because I was doing so much other work and I was moving through stuff, and I got to this place of, wow, what am I going to create?
Mm.
And I took a pause for a little bit, and I kind of worked with that tortured artist archetype a bit. And it's just one of our one of our many creations that we have as human beings, that,
Mm.
oh, I can't create art now, I need to suffer, but I didn't want to suffer anymore in order to create art. So I was kind of caught in that. And I'm wondering, did you ever have any kind of feeling around that, or did you deal with that at
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
point in
and
time?
I'm still dealing with that.
Yeah.
I call them my mindset monsters. They are the fears that keep coming back up. They are the things that block my flow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also recognizing what pulls you down, I think.
Mm.
It is recognizing these monsters and learning how to deal with them, because they come back. Sometimes you think you dealt with one, and then something triggers you and back again. I know I have certain habits that I need to keep in under control. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, if I watch too much of the world news, I slide down very easily,
Yeah, I can
because
see.
it starts to hurt me deeply. I feel I need to help out everywhere. And I know I don't have the power to do that. I cannot be in all those places at the same time. I am
Yeah.
very, I'm very easily touched with unfair situations. If people are being treated unfairly, I find it very, very difficult. I I I feel deeply, and it's really difficult, because it can actually personally bring me to a emotional state that I want to just sit in a corner and cry all day.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it's impossible to live with, because if you let that happen, then nothing will. I cannot work. I cannot really operate normally. So I need to keep that in check. I want to be updated with everything that's around the world to a certain extent, and protect myself. So I have certain ways that I deal with that. Um, but those are the little snips that I can use in my art, in my creating. As you
Yeah.
said, people say you need an artist needs to be suffering to create good art, and perhaps that is the thing. I can dip my toe in that dark pool and create for a week or a month from that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because I don't need a lot to start building and creating. Um, if I wade into that pool, then I suffocate myself. So I need to find a harmony, a balance. I
Yeah.
find balance a difficult word, because it's always like a dance. It's always like you go from left to right, and you know, a couple of steps forward, a couple of steps back. It's almost like swaying. You know, you're swaying between the dark and the light, and you try and find your path. But I like to focus on positivity. I do like to focus on positivity now, because it doesn't help myself. My health will deteriorate if I just, you know, if I let myself slip. So, and it doesn't help others around me either. That's the same thing, you know. If you have a smile for somebody, that person will smile to somebody else. It's like that. Positivity grows when you give it, but negative energy also grows when you know. So
Right.
it spreads. Whatever you want to put out spreads. So I choose to spread positivity rather than negativity.
Yeah, and that's the conscious and the conscious creating. So I was wondering if you would walk us through your creative practice that you'd like to share about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have many different ways, but I'll share with you one simple way that anybody, you know, regardless of what your creative outlet is, whether you are, you know, somebody that likes to draw or not, this is not about a masterpiece. This is not about creating a Mona Lisa, whatever, you know. This is purely about the process of getting from one emotional point to another state. So I usually start with writing out my thoughts. So I will I will usually take a moment, be still, and the first word that pops in my mind, I will start writing that down on the paper. And when I do that, if more words come, because that usually happens, you start with one word and suddenly it will give you more, and you can just start writing. And it doesn't have to be legible. Nobody else has to read it afterwards. I've got a little thing, like it can be like this.
Oh, nice. Yep. Yeah.
So I just start writing. And if you have different languages, you can use different words, different languages. You can write from back to front, from top to bottom, whatever. You can write big, bold. You can write little scribbles. Often I cannot even read back what I wrote. You know, usually I know, because whatever I create afterwards on it has that essence in it. So I know what the story was about, but every single word I often cannot even read back. But it's not about that. It's just letting go. So what I usually do is I sit still, I calm myself down, and I take a moment. And whatever word comes, I start with that, and then I write. So I'd like to give you that time now. So you just calm down. You can close your eyes if you want to. Take a deep breath. Feel within. And what is the word that comes out? It can be a worry. It can be something you look forward to. It can be a memory. And you just start with that. And you just start to write.
Shall we stop?
Yeah.
I could keep going.
That's good. Yeah. So the same thing for me, right? I started writing, and in no time and I can keep going. So that's what I usually write, the whole thing. Like if I'm working on a canvas, I'll write the whole canvas full of a story. It just comes. And as you start writing, more comes, and you just don't think about it. You just write whatever comes. It doesn't have to make grammatically sense or,
Yeah.
you just write. You just dump your thoughts.
Yeah, it's funny because I started out with words and then I just went into scribbles, and I think I'm in a little bit of chaos. I got a lot of stuff going on in life. So I just kind of let, you know what, this is my time to like, you know what, I don't want to think about words anymore.
That's cool. But there are people that love writing, you're a visual artist as well. I use words, but I'm not a writer. I like to sometimes make little poems. I could write those as well sometimes, but I'm not a writer per se. So but other people might be, they might write lovely little story, and that's cool too. You do what you do.
Exactly.
If you're into cooking, you might write down a recipe, you might write down the ideas for a recipe and put funny things together and see where that goes,
Yeah, in the theme of life as art, cooking and creating a dish and that kind of stuff is an art too. Yeah, and it's
everything
is.
Yeah,
everything is, right? Yeah, and I kind of wanted, I'm kind of glad I showed that, because I wanted to break the rules and let people know it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is okay. Yeah. So now you superimpose, you think, so now it goes back to, or we're going to finding a mark, right? So when you worry a lot, what is the shape that comes to mind for you? Do you have a shape that sort of encompasses your worry? And you can do it in a different color, you can do it in the same color, you just superimpose it over your words. So just a shape. And you can do it in a different color, you can do it in the same color, whatever. And you just think, you just place it anywhere, big, small, in the corner, in the middle, whatever comes to you. You got it?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now I want you to think of a symbol or a shape that shows you that you are happy. What does happy look like to you? And you just, again, you put that anywhere on your page, over the top, big, small, whatever. Different color, same color. What makes you happy?
Okay.
And the next one that I want you to think of is what makes you feel safe. What is a shape, a mark, a color that makes you, that when you look at it, you say, yeah, that's my safe place. That's safety for me.
Okay. Okay.
And then I want to let you think about one last one. If you feel safe, when you feel safe and happy, how does that show for your family or your environment around you? How would you show that? What would that look like? So you just draw something, write something, draw something on top.
Okay,
You got that?
I do.
How do you feel now?
I feel it's funny. I feel happier. I feel more flowy because that's the last thing I did just was like these flowy lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like totally like shifted from the scribble and like, oh, like I didn't even want to write words. Resistance.
Yeah. So the
to
funny thing is that a simple little, like, this is what, 5 minutes, and I've been talking through it. It's not even it hasn't even been really your time. But if you can allow yourself a little space and a little time for yourself and do this, step by step, you will see that you draw a lot from inside out onto that paper.
Mhm.
And it just shifts the feeling that you have, the emotion that you have at that moment, because you've put some stuff on that piece of paper. And it's really like unpacking a heavy load of a backpack. You don't have to carry it with you anymore. It's just like, bloop, you throw it there, and now your backpack is light again, and you can move forward again.
Mm.
Because you don't, it's not like you have to forget about what you've put down, but now it has a safe space to sit. It's like a constant that you can, like my journals, if I open them now, I can look through them and go like, oh yeah, that was that time. Those are those things. I know that they have a safe place to stay, but I don't have to constantly memorize them every day. I can move
Right.
forward and they are there. So that is how I see them. It's like unpacking and allowing those thoughts to be in a place where you can go back and see them again. They can be because next time you feel horrible or something like that, you can go back through and read through that journal. I've got one here. So, I mean, as I said, I'm a lot more illustrative when I go for myself and when I make things like that for myself. But for instance, this one.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
So this started with just some random lines and thoughts, and then I started smacking a lot of paint over it, and she suddenly sort of somehow emerged, out of line. And somebody correct, it's not about that. And then I don't know, she suddenly got this,
Mhm.
which is like, that is for me, like when I feel happy and safe. It's like the rays of the sun, like you can touch more,
Yeah.
you can spread out your energy, and you can touch more by
Mhm.
by bringing yourself to a place where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable and happy and free. When
Mm.
you feel free, you can give so much more. And that is why I'm always focused on free and independence, independence, because everybody's freedom might look different, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the beauty of art too, and coming up with your own symbols for
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and this practice is really amazing too, because it does get you over that like fear of the blank page.
yeah.
If you had that and like, oh my God, we're gonna make art. No, you're not. You're just gonna scribble or make a shape or put color
Yeah,
down, so you
yeah.
totally simplified it for people, and that's really beautiful.
And that's also a reason why art journals are so cool, because you
Yeah.
don't have to hang them on the wall.
Hmm.
They can be just for you, or you can share them. If you choose to, you can share them, but you don't have to. They're going to be just for you. They're your field guides. They're your little manuscripts, they're your little Bibles that you can go to, and they have to hang on the wall. So nobody has to say, oh, that's really good art, or
Right.
oh, that's deep. What does it mean? You don't have to explain it, because it's yours, and it holds pieces of you. It holds your thoughts, your emotions, and your struggles, and you get through it. But when you read back yourself, you relive it, or you remember, and you can say, hey, yeah, I know, I've done that before, and
Yes.
look, I've come through it. So
Yes.
it's like a manual. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. So, would you care to share your free gift for the audience and tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my free gift is a 5-step to focus, because I'm a multi-passionate creative, and most of the people that I work with and deal with on a daily basis are that, as well as are my kids. Actually, they're very multi-passionate. So our whole house is like that. So the thing with with creatives is that we are easily distracted by other things, and focus is one of the hardest things to control. Yeah. So
I can relate. I can relate.
and I'm sure that most of you that are watching, that you can relate to. But yes, so focus. But to be able to call myself a thriving artist, and to be able to make creativity and art my means of building an income, for my family as well, I needed to focus. And I find it very hard to follow very strict rules. There needs to be a certain, again, freedom and thinking from my side to feel okay with that. So I found these creative ways to focus. I created ways to focus in a creative way, so that it doesn't feel boring, it doesn't feel restricted, it doesn't feel like somebody says, oh, you have to do this now. It's not like that. It gives you freedom, but still you teach yourself how to focus. Yeah. And so that is my gift.
That's awesome. Okay. And you guys can get that by hitting the link that accompanies this video. And also, I'd like to invite you, Joyce, to our Conscious Creativity Circle, and invite all of you who are watching that played along with this exercise. If you want to take a quick picture if you want to share in that group, the group is a safe container, and share some of your thoughts about what Joyce has shared, and maybe your experience with the creative practice. And Joyce you can connect with Joyce, and I'll be there too. And we'll start a little dialogue or conversation about it. So good. Thank you so much for joining us today, Joyce. It's just such an awesome pleasure to have you here and to hear all of your wisdom.
Oh, it's been fun being here. Yeah, thanks for inviting me again. And everybody that's been watching, thank you for being here too. It's really fun for me to talk about and to share what I do. And it is it makes me feel really warm inside that it helps others as well. So that is really, I love that.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. And thank you again, all of you who are watching, and we'll see you again on Life is Art Conscious Creativity Summit, and we'll see you in the Facebook group. Bye-bye.
Bye.